to the world and to the kingdom citizens. I greet you in the precious holy name of Yeshua Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, who said in his word, John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Hi, I'm Dr. John Curry, an ambassador, and welcome to the embassy of the kingdom of heaven on earth. If you want to follow this podcast, please subscribe to JC Global Embassy TV 1. Ring the bell and hit the thumbs up button. Today's message is entitled, To the Blamers and Excuse Makers. To the blamers and excuse makers. Stop blaming others and live a no-excuse life. We're going to go right in. 10 points I want you to consider. Number 1, you didn't get to pick your parents. No excuses. Stop crying about how bad your life is. Stop crying about what your parents didn't do or what they did do that you didn't like. Stop making excuses for your life. God allowed you to come into this world when millions upon millions of other babies had died in the womb, died through abortion, but you are now here. Stop insulting God by making excuses and insulting God when you're here. You have a life to live. Stop whining about your parents. Stop crying about how bad it was and learn to live a no-excuse life. No excuses. You have a life to live while you are healing. You have a life to live while you are building. No longer should you live your life making excuses about what I didn't get or what I should have gotten, and you live your whole life making excuses. Stop whining about your life. You didn't pick your parents. They was assigned to you. And you came through your parents. You came through your father's loin. And you came through your mother's womb. You are now here. Stop complaining. Stop whining. Stop crying about how bad your life is. And live a no-excuse life. Number 2, when you wake up, you should get up. When you wake up, get up. No excuse. When you wake up in the morning, you have an opportunity to say, I am here. When you wake up in the morning, you have an opportunity to say, I am present. When you wake up in the morning, you have an opportunity to say, I am alive. You can say, I am alive. You can say, I am well. I am strong. When you wake up in the morning, you can say, I am who God says that I am. I can have what God says I can have. I can do what God says I can do. In him I live. In him I move. In him I have my being. You have an opportunity that when you wake up, get up. No excuses. Stop making excuses about how bad your life is. Begin to make some changes. Begin to focus on today. Don't worry about tomorrow, because the word tells us tomorrow is not promised. Focus on today. What you can fix today, that's what you fix today. Focus on today and let God handle tomorrow. Stop crying. Stop blaming. Stop making excuses for how bad your life is. You're here now. What are you doing to make the difference? Number 3, all you get is one day. No excuses. All you get is one day. You don't get 2 days. You don't get 3 days. You get one day, just like the billionaire and the beggar. The billionaire and the beggar only get one day, 24 hours. The billionaire spent his time creating. The beggar spent his time whining and complaining and making excuses. You all get, I get 24 hours. You get 24 hours. We all get 24 hours a day. Don't make excuses. Fact about it, your eternity is wrapped up in one day. God took the past and he brought it with the future. And when the future and the past are compressed, it's eternity. It's now. You're in the presence of right now. You don't know you don't know what's going to happen to you tomorrow. Forget about what happened to you yesterday. You have to live in the now. It's always about the now. If you're living, you got one day at a time to get your life right. One day at a time to make sure you're doing what you need to do on that day. for tomorrow is not promised. All you get is one day. What are you doing when you get up? Do you just wake up and start whining and complaining? What are you doing during the day? Let's say it's 10 a.m. in the morning. What are you doing now? What are you doing at 12? What are you doing at 2? What are you doing at 3? What are you doing at 4? What are you doing at 5? What are you doing? And if you're doing nothing, then that's the result of what your life will bring you that day. Nothing. Nothing in, nothing out. You must begin to take advantage of each day. Stop being a blamer and excuse maker. Stop blaming everybody else for the life that you created and the life that you're living. And then maybe you want to go back to, well, my mom and him, she was a drug addict or he was an alcoholic. That doesn't have nothing to do with you. Even though they may have mistreated you, may have raised you in a particular way, God still holds us responsible to come out of our situation and live a no excuse life. Number 4, you can defeat the enemy. But I want you to know this, number 4, if you can defeat the enemy within you, the enemy outside of you can do you no harm. Let me say that one more time. If you can defeat the enemy within you, the enemy outside of you can do you no harm. Your greatest nemesis is yourself. Your greatest nemesis is your thought pattern. Your greatest nemesis is that you're more concerned about what others think about you than what God knows about you and what God has assigned you to do within the purpose of which you was born. So if you can defeat the enemy within you, the enemy without you can do you no harm. If you are losing in your mind, let's say you're just losing in your mind. You're not losing your mind, but you're losing in your mind. You're losing the fight that's in your mind. And you're losing that fight before you throw the first punch. In other words, you have a quitter's mentality. In other words, you don't believe you can win. You need to be reminded of how you should win and what it takes to win. You have to tell yourself, I think I can, I think I can. You see, it's all in your thought patterns. If you think you're a loser, you perform like a loser. If you think that you can't win, you won't win. You begin to practice hallucinogenic rehearsal. And with hallucinogenic rehearsal, you look at yourself as already defeated before you throw the first punch. Are you losing in your mind? Are you the biggest loser that you know? You see, sometimes we project on others who we really are. Are you the biggest loser that you know? And why are you losing? It's because you don't believe you can win. You haven't defeated the enemy on the inside of you. And the enemy on the inside of you will constantly tell you, you can't do it. He's talking to you right now. The enemy's talking to you right now. You can't do it. I hear what he's saying, but I don't know if I can make it. I don't know if I can get this job, or I don't know if I can be able to make the team, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the house or the car. I don't know. You're losing in your mind. And if you're losing in your mind, you have already lost. I believe it was Mike Tyson said, everybody have a plan until they get in the ring and get hit with the first punch. Well, see, you may have gotten hit with the first punch, but the word tells us that a righteous man falleth down 7 times, but he's standing at attention ready to fight 8. Are you ready to go another round with the devil? Or are you spending most of your time blaming and making excuses? Stop blaming others and live a no excuse life. You have to understand that the fight is bigger than you. The only person that is stopping you is you. Are you becoming what you was born to become? Are you becoming what you was born to become? Or are you becoming someone else because you hang around losers? You hang around people say, well, it don't take all that. You hang around people say, girl, don't worry about just getting an A out the class. If you get a C, you're doing just fine. You hang around people that poison your mind. You hang around people and you do things with people that keep you from being what you know in your heart you can be. Maybe you have to study a little bit longer. Maybe you have to pray a little bit longer. Maybe you have to put some time into the work that you want to do. Maybe you have to just hold your shoulders back and decide, you know what? I'm going to be great. I'm not going to be like my mom and them. I'm not going to be like my daddy and them. I'm not going to be like these people that always want to put me down. I'm going to stand up on the inside of myself and defeat the enemy that's within and go head on and win. See, the enemy don't want you to win. See, he really wants you to self-destruct. He wants you to hit the tripwire. You know that tripwire where when you're running? I know when I used to run the 400 meters, you get around to the last 100 meters, and the coach used to say, now, Curry, you got to watch out because that bear going to jump on your back. And I used to be waiting for the bear. When I get around to that last 100 meters at that 300 mark, I knew I had to push my best. So I ran the 100 meters, the first 100 meters, the first 100 meter, I ran all out. The second 100 meter, I floated. The third 100 meter, I continued to float. But on the last 100 meters, I went all out again. And that's how you win. When it looked like you're going to quit, you keep on moving. When it looked like you're tired and frustrated, keep on moving. Give it one more second. Give it one more minute. Give it one more hour. I say give it one more day. You got to give it one more week. And after one more week, give it one more month. After one more month, give it one more year. One more decade. And I guarantee you, you'll win. But you got to kill the enemy that is within you. Number 5, be in it to win it. I never got into anything that I would just say I'm on the team. I never became a part of something say, well, I'm on the team and, I got my outfit, I got my jersey, and I got my shoulder pads, I'm on the team. That was never good enough for me. I wanted to dominate like I still dominate today. Bump being on the team. I want to be a first rounder. I want to start the team. I want to start on the team. I want to be, if it's possible, that the coach see my drive to be chosen as captains on the team. When I was on the team, I was captain for 4 years in college. I was one of the better players in 4 years. Why? Because being on the team was not good enough. And that's how some believers, and that's how some of you are. You're just happy to have a job, but you don't want to do your best. You can be excellent and different on your job. You will be able to get people attention when they know that you just don't want to be on the team. You want to win with no excuses. You must tell yourself that I'm not going to stop until I win. And somebody said, well, that's kind of arrogant, or, maybe they're just a little bit too headstrong. If you're going to win, you got to have it. The NFL players don't get on the team and say, well, I hope we go to the Super Bowl one day. Or they don't try for the team and say, well, one of these days they're going to pick me. No, they try out to win, period. And if you're in life and you ain't determined to win and you got the power of God in you, besides you ready to help you to win, then you have declared yourself as a loser. You got to decide to win. You got to fight that enemy that's on the inside of you that wants you to quit. You got to get the victory. You got to train hard. And when I say train hard, you got to train hard. And when you train hard, you got to get yourself involved in a regimen, in a system that can help you win. You got to be around winners. When I was interviewed by Coach Leroy Walker of the United States Olympics, he gave me 2 things to practice on, and I did them. And when it got time to try for the Olympic Games, I wasn't worrying about qualifying, and I did. But we didn't go to Moscow because President Carter boycotted the Olympics. The point I'm making to you, you got to decide to win. I will not be mediocre. Just tell yourself that right now. Say, I will not be mediocre. I will do whatever it takes to win. And when you do that, then you'll find yourself surrounded by winners. Stop blaming others about how miserable your life is. I mean, you're 20 now. You should be in some type of decision-making process. When you turn 12, that's the age of accountability. You know right from wrong. And since you know right from wrong, you need to choose right. You are the sum total. I want you to get this now. You are the sum total of your choices. Yeah, that's messing you up, right? You are the sum total of your choices. You and your friends was at the store. You had a decision to make. Are you going to be weak and intimidated when they say, hey, let's go back there and steal something? And since you're so weak and emotionally sprung that don't know how to stand up for yourself, you went with them knowing that you shouldn't have did it. And you got caught and then you went to jail. The same thing. You went in somebody's house. You burglarized somebody's house because you was hanging around some guys that you know you shouldn't have been around, and now you're in prison. The reason why you're where you at is because of your choices. It's not you made a mistake. It's your choices. And you have the right to make the choice to win. When you come out of the system, make a choice never to go back. You can win. You are born to win. Out of several million sperm cells that left your father's loin, that went up into your mother's womb, chasing the egg in your mother's womb, guess who got there first? You. You got there first. So you was born to win, but you choosing to lose. Stop blaming others. Stop blaming others for your miserable life. You're mad at the world because you didn't do what you know you should have done. Stop blaming others. And all I would tell you is reset, reconnect back to those that you need to connect to, and go ahead on and make your life to be what God needs for it to be. So be in it to win it. No excuses. Don't blame everybody for your mess. Just say, I made some bad choices, but now I'm getting ready to make some greater choices, and go ahead on and be the success that you know you can be. Renew your mind. Be not conformed to your friendships, but be you transformed by the renewing of your mind. Everybody is not for you. I want you to get that. Everybody is not for you. There's some people that get happy when you get in trouble because it makes them look like they're great citizens. Number 6, God did not wake you up to lose. When you wake up in the morning, God's expectations for you to win. When you wake up in the morning, God did not wake you up so you can lose. And God did not want you to be like a hound dog laying on a nail crying about what's sticking you. Get up from your position and go ahead on and be the success that you know you can be. God did not wake you up to lose. God placed eternity in you. And he called it, here's what God called eternity when he placed it in you. He called it one day. Remember, when the past and the future are compressed, it's now. And now is one day. You have one day to decide to be great or one day to decide to be mediocre. He placed eternity in you. Everybody gets the same amount of time. Everybody. You say, well, why do some people succeed and others don't? It's really how you handle your time. Time is money. Word is bond and time is valuable. That's my motto. That's what I live by. Word is bond, time is valuable. If your word is nothing, I suggest that you're nothing. If you don't value time, I say you soon will be in poverty. You have to make a decision. My word is everything. My time is valuable. So how you use your time daily will determine your success. What are you doing? What are you doing with your time? Are you playing games? You're a grown man sitting up in the house playing video games, but yet you're complaining about you don't have no money. What are you doing with your time? Are you wasting time? Are you spending too much time on things that just don't make sense? Are you spending too much time on bright, pretty, shiny things? What are you doing with your time? You must set your mindset to win. Your mind got to be set to win. That whatever I'm in, I plan to win. Whatever I'm in, I plan. If I'm in college, I plan to get great grades. If I got a job, I plan to be the best employer on the job. If I'm working, I plan to be the greatest worker. You have to set your mind that whatever you put yourself in or make the choices to do, that you're great at what you do. You have to decide to be great. Greatness is not thrust upon us when we're not really seeking it. And while you're pursuing greatness and you're pursuing living a no-excuse life, you have to decide also that you're going to get there no matter what the cost. When everybody else is sleeping, you got to be running. When everybody else is at home complaining, talking it's too cold, you just put on the extra layer of clothes and you go get your running in. When everybody else is complaining about, I don't want to go to work today because they treat me bad, you dress up and you get there an hour early just to let the devil know I'm here to win. You got to decide to be great. Stop blaming others and live a no excuse life. You're wondering why your life is so miserable? It's because that's what you're planning it to be. It's your choices. Your choices is what making your life miserable. And then you look around and blame everybody else that's doing the right thing because they're making the right choices. And you get frustrated, you get mad, and then you want to try to put them down because you know you're not being what you know you could be. You know that you got to put the work in. That's what you got to know. Number 7, do you know who you are? See, if you're a big baby, babies love to drink milk. And when a baby is not sure that he wants some milk, the baby wants the pacifier. And we have some people that are seeking greatness do not know that if their baby getting ready to be weaned off milk, but then they choose the pacifier. So you find yourself, 1 minute you're a grown man, the next minute you're acting like a baby. You want somebody to give you a bottle. Now you're making excuses. Well, if this had happened or if that had happened, well, it didn't happen. It didn't happen for me. It didn't happen for hundreds and thousands of other men and women. It didn't happen. Mama wasn't there. Daddy wasn't there. The job failed. Didn't get no job. Didn't even get out of high school. Didn't know what to do. But you know what they do? They say, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the bottle down. I'm going to take the pacifier out my mouth, and I'm going to go and make it happen. And you know what they do? They stop blaming others and making excuses, and they live a no-excuse life, and they go head on to be millionaires. They go head on and succeed in spite of their condition. So to the blamers and excuse makers, stop blaming others and live a no-excuse life. So if you don't know who you are, anyone can name you. If you don't know who you are, anyone can name you. If you don't know where you came from, anyone can tell you. If you're eating the husk with the swine, you can begin to think that that's who I am. You have to rise up from where you are. Discover who you are. Know where you came from. Know who you are and know where you're going. Know where you came from, know who you are, and know where you're going. You came from God. You're here in the earth. You've been raised right or you've been raised wrong. But anyway, you're grown now. You're a teenager now. You're a young man or young lady now. Now you have the ability to make the right choices. And if you don't know how to make the right choices, the law will escort you to make the right choices. This is wrong, that's right. You have to make the right choices for yourself. And when you begin to make the right choices, you can live a no excuse life. Number 8. It's very important for you to understand this. When you understand this, you'll live a life, stop crying about it, and you'll start being about it. Stop crying about what they did and what they said. Stop crying about how bad your life was. When you go out the country, you'll see that some people really got some bad lives. Stop crying about, well, if I'd have just had this and had that. Everybody can say that. Stop blaming others and live a no-excuse life. My father was not in my life until I had to go meet him at 16 years old. My father's never done anything for me, never bought me a pair of shoes, never did anything for me. But I went on and succeeded. I left home at 16 years old and I went home and succeeded. God was with me every step of the way. Stop blaming others for your situation. Stop blaming others for where you at. I went on to do some great things and still are doing some great things. That's why I can share with you. Don't be a blaming and excuse maker. Stop blaming others and live a no excuse life. Make it happen. Period. When everybody say you can't do it, make it happen. Make it happen. Decide to be great. Make a choice to be great. Don't be running around complaining about how bad life is. Decide to be great. Put yourself in it and make sure that you're around the right people that can coach you and develop you and help you to be the person that you choose to be. Number 8, don't defeat yourself in your mind. No excuses. Are you losing in your mind? See? What are you thinking about? That's the question. You got to ask yourself the question. See, what you're thinking about the most, you will become. We're going to let that settle in. What are you thinking about? I'm going to say it again. What are you thinking about? And not only what are you thinking about, how are you thinking about it? How are you thinking about it? How long do you think about it? Do you go to bed thinking about it? Do you wake up in the morning thinking about it? Do you go to work thinking about it? Do you go to school and church thinking about it? What are you thinking about? What you think about the most, you will become. In essence, if you think you're a loser, stop crying when you lose. If you think you can't do it, stop crying when you don't do it. If you don't think you're a great businessman, why you are shocked that you're not? Whatever you think about the most, you will become. So don't defeat yourself in your mind. The Chinese said the mind is the standard of the man. What is your mind telling you? Is your mind telling you to quit? Yeah, and this message is for you because your mind was telling you to quit. Ain't no sense in listening to this man. He don't know what I'm going through. I don't have to know what you're going through to know the voice of a quitter. If you are quitting on yourself, you're quitting on the generations that are behind you. Fact about it, you're quitting on the generation that are in your loins. You are training them to quit and to give up. You got to win the battle in your mind. Say, I dare to win and I dare to be successful. And check this out. The only thing or the only person that can stop you is you. Are you beating yourself up because you refuse to lift yourself up? And maybe you make phrases like this here, well, everybody in my family has been on welfare. Everybody in my family has been receiving food stamps for generations. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get off food stamps either because I got 7 kids by 5 different daddies when you shouldn't have had none until you got married. But see, those are choices that you made. Low self-esteem, you made those choices. But that doesn't mean you can't get up from those choices. It doesn't mean that you can't make it up in your mind and say, I'm going to get a degree anyway. It doesn't mean that you can't start a business. It doesn't mean that you can't dare to be great. We all make bad choices. But it's from those choices that we learn how to pull ourselves up and make correct choices. Are you deciding to win? Are you blaming yourself? You've been doing that too long. Now it's time to rise. It's time to get up from yourself and show your children that I'm going to be great. Number 9, stand up after the fight. Have you ever been in a fight and you got beat up? I can recall being in a fight maybe one time where the guy got the best of me. Every other time, I got the best of him. Because by instinct, I'm not a fighter. I am a person that like to corral people and build people. So it takes a lot to get me to go there. But check it out. When I go, that's it. All the words you can say ain't going to stop this, okay? Just go and accept this whooping because that's what's going to be, especially when I tried to get you not to fight. So the point that I'm making is this. After the fight, let's say if you got knocked down, just stand back up. You know, if the devil knocked you to the ground, just stand back up. The people talked about you, stand back up. People lied on you, stand back up. People tried to hurt you, stand back up. People tried to ridicule you, stand back up. Tried to molest you, rape you, stand back up. Stop blaming others and live a no-excuse life. The devil hates it when you stand back up, especially when you done been through a lot. He wants you to sit up in the corner when you get knocked down, and here's what he wants you to do. He wants you to grab your bottle, or he wants you to put a pacifier in your mouth and get in a fetal position, start crying about how bad your life is. Oh, if my daddy had been there, if my mama had been there, your mama and your daddy both could have been there, and you still would make some dumb, stupid choices. It's all about you. You have to decide that I'm going to do the right thing because I want to. Many times people rebel because they're going against their mother and their father, and they just rebel. But when is it going to be about you? When is it going to be about you taking responsibility for your choices? When you do that, you're going to want to win. Losers accept losing, but winners will never accept losing. They're always moving towards the mark of the high calling. And the last one, number 10. Stop waiting on others to make it happen for you. Well, I'm waiting on my brother to do such and such. Stop waiting on your brother. You know, like the black man right now, in many cases, not just here in America, but in Africa, some of us, not me, some of us call ourselves waiting on the white man to come to our neighborhoods and clean them up and get rid of the drug dealers. See, you have to stop waiting on others to help you or to make a way for you and make a way your doggone self. You have to empower yourself and say, I don't need no help. The only help I really need to have is from God. Anything other than that, God uses people to help me and to bless me. But he sent me the right people. Stop blaming others and live a no-excuse life. So number 10, stop waiting on others to make it happen for you. Make it happen for yourself. No excuses. Let me say it again. Stop waiting on others to make it happen for you. Make it happen yourself. You be creative. You get out there. You write your business plan. You discover your idea. You start your own business. You do the things that you need to do. Stop waiting on others to come and help you. Well, the reason why I didn't make it because they didn't help me. The reason why I didn't make it because they didn't show me how to write a business plan. What I've learned, people do what they want to do. When you're hungry enough, nobody can stop you. You can Google and get a business plan. You can go to the library. You can go to a business place. You can go to any place you want and get all the help you want to have. Stop waiting on others to make it happen. And make it happen yourself. Stop watching the game and get on the field. Yeah, that kind of shook you right there, right? Stop watching the game and get on the field. Stop being a cheerleader for others and start cheering yourself. See, some of you get happy when people that you know that have made it, they're in the movies, they're in Hollywood, they got businesses and they got beautiful homes, they got all this stuff, and you just cheerlead for them. Ooh, wow, they're doing real good. And you feel good when they're doing good. But how about you? What about you? What about you? Stop cheerleading others and cheer yourself. Motivate yourself. Ask yourself, am I being the best that I can be? Am I doing the best that I can do? What do I want out of life? Do I want to consistently live in the ghetto? Do I want to consistently be drunk as a skunk, high as a kite? Do I want to consistently do these things that cause me to fail? Am I failing because of my choice? My answer to you is yes. You got to make better choices. You got to decide to win. And when you decide to stop cheerleading others and make it happen for yourself, you'll be moving in the right direction to live a life of no excuses. Some people have the tendency to blame God. Well, God, if you had did this, I could have did that. No, you still would have made the same dumb choices. The point is, you have to know how to make choices, right and wrong. Before you do something wrong, think of consequences. That's what I used to always think of and still do. When I was a little boy, I always thought about the whooping first. I always thought about what would happen. Would my mother be mad? Would my mother be embarrassed? Would those that care about me be embarrassed? I thought consequences before choice. And when I thought consequences before choice, it helped me to make the right choices until I got up early till I got up older in life, and it was pretty easy to make the right choices because it's always right to do right. So stop blaming others and live a no excuse life. And as I close, stop watching people and motivate yourself. See, sometimes you have to motivate yourself. Maybe your mom is not there. Maybe your daddy is not there. Maybe your grandmom is not there. Not any of the people that you love that can help you. The word God says that we have to motivate ourselves. You got to find something on the inside of you and tell yourself, I'm not going to let myself stop myself from being the best self I know I can be. And you rise. And when you make that decision, God will begin to send people to you. And those people will begin to hold you up and build you up. And as they hold you up and build you up, you can be the man or the woman that you want to be. So I say unto you, let's get rid of the bottle and the pacifier. Stop blaming others and live a no excuse life. And when you do, you'll be able to succeed in everything you set your mind to. I trust God that you can believe it. I trust God that you'll receive it. And if you do, look forward to hearing from you. And God bless until next time.